Hi everyone. Do you wish to grow as a data scientist, as a machine learning engineer? What does it take to excel in data science? We have three young data scientists from Deep Thought with us, Neeraj, Sanskriti, and Aditya Renke. So they'll share with us their stories of how they've built their machine learning models and how they're solving interesting problems in the ed tech and culture tech spaces. So I hope you'd all enjoy this interview today, and I hope it gives you a lot of answers around your own data science journey, right? So on that note, I request all of you to quickly introduce yourselves. Yeah.
So I'll go ahead. Hi guys, hi everyone. My name is Aditya Mahesh Renke. I'm actually from Maharashtra, and I joined Deep Thought at 16th August of 2023. It's been quite a time. It's 2024 now. So I would like to tell everyone that one thing that keeps me going in Deep Thought is like leadership. I can show leadership to everyone. My
Okay. Thank you, Aditya.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Sanskriti Singh. And 4 months back, I guess 4.5 months back, in November, I joined Deep Thought as a behavioral data scientist here. And for me, in Deep Thought, every day is like learning something new, exploring something new. So it's all about learning and growing for me.
Thank you, Sanskriti.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Neeraj Kumar. I joined Deep Thought on September 19. The day I joined, I was in my college. So I was thinking ki, only the coding and what is the technical aspects only about the data science. But later I realized ki it is much more than that. Like I was working on the how to collect, how to take the data from the Kaggle, how to work on it. But I didn't know what is data discovery. Like I figured out the data discovery, how to collect the data, because it is the essential part of data. Before collecting the data, at least uh, what how we collect the data, like which data we need actually, that thing I learned from here. And every day like I am feeling ki I am adding some values in my domain.
Okay. Thank you, Neeraj. I'd like to request all of you to very quickly introduce what is your machine learning model all about, the one you're building right now.
so I'd like to go ahead. So currently, I have two models. So one is related to selection process. In a selection process, if someone is answering your question, because we believe that in selection process is not only about hiring candidates, it's about giving content and making sure that they also learn from that selection process something. So while answering the questions, situational based questions, how we can give feedback so that questions can be that answers can be improved. That is one model. And in second model, it was about giving rating on their Socratic questioning that they create for any suppose explanation purpose. They create Socratic question to rate that and to give remarks on that. That is my second machine learning model. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Aditya. You're on mute, Sanskriti. You'll have to unmute.
Not audible.
Yeah. So I'm in Peditech. I was working with Peditech on my machine learning model, and in Peditech we are developing one platform where student can learn by themselves through some pedagogies we are using there, Feynman technique, Socratic questioning, and all of that. So my models were inspired from those pedagogies, and currently I'm working on 4 models, and 3 were major models from them. I'll go with the first one, which I completed. That model is uh, putting questions on the basis of students' answer. So there are some questions, and those questions are being answered by students, and my model is generating some questions based on the students' answer. So through the questions, model itself is giving them direction to get them a conceptual clarity by themselves. It's like model is having a Socratic dialogue with the students. That is my first model. And second model, we are evaluating whatever the student are giving examples and answers to the logic of the concept we were trying to give them through stories, through Feynman examples. So it is evaluating and giving the percentage of how much conceptual clarity and logic student got. And yeah, third model is around, in DT-thon, we have one section where students are doing rigor building. So my third model is around rigor building, whatever they came up with reasoning around why they came up with those answers. It is evaluating their rigor and suggesting them how they can improve their critical thinking and thinking process. Yeah, these were my models, major models, I would say.
Yes.
Thank you.
So my model was about project showcase. There like we are working on a platform, digital project showcase, where all the students, all the presenters who want to showcase their project, they came to a platform, and like this platform is a good alternative of a physical project showcase. So whatever the data we are getting from that project showcase, like a feedback about a student, how he is doing, he got some compliments, he got some questions, what can be the improvement in their projects, the future works, what we can add in their projects. So we are giving all the feedbacks, all the outputs to the model, and this model is generating summary or takeaways. So this can be a reason for the student or for the presenter. So next time he will, like, that thing will be the reason for the presenter next time why he should enter into the project showcase. So it will like a memory as well as the guidance for the students. So next time when the student or the presenter will present their project, he he will be improved more. So my model was around these things.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Sanskriti. So one question I have for you is, at deep thought, we say that, just knowing Python or knowing some programming is not good enough to do data science here. So what role did domain understanding play in your machine learning project? What were the real struggles in your machine learning project?
So I'd like to go to answer that question. The bigger understanding was like domain, what we say, domain expertise. As we all know that Python is only a tool. Python can be used for various reasons. Like it can be used for visualization and everything. So for data science, it's only a tool, as we all know. For doing data science, for creating models, Python is only a way. But to create my model, the biggest thing that prevented me at starting was understanding why am I doing it, understanding the purpose behind the model. When I understood the business perspective out of it, it was easy to build for me. That was my biggest understanding.
Okay, thank you, Aditya.
For me, it like anyone can do coding with some practice. Some practice, anyone can learn Python, anyone can learn data analytics, visualization, and do the things. But and nowadays, like what are the advancement in AI? We have some tools like GPT, and like recently the Devin comes. But the thing is, if we don't know the context, key why we are doing it, if we don't know the business context of the things, the reason behind the system, so we will not able to make the efficient model. Even if we have the knowledge, even if we have the coding skills, we will lack in these things. So the main thing what I learned is business context of the situation.
Okay, thank you, Neeraj.
Yeah, I would say, as Aditya mentioned, it is very important to look Python as a tool. Python is a tool. And before using any tool, it is very important that we know what are our requirements. I struggled there. I didn't figured out my requirements first, and I just directly jumped into figuring out what technologies I will use. I was more focusing on technologies. But once I got a proper framework, what are my requirements? First, I figured out what are my requirements, and according to that requirement, what tool can be used, what element of that tool can be used, so that I'll get my desired result outcomes. So for me, those frameworks, those figuring out the requirement of that process that I followed, that helped me out in that.
Thank you, Sanskriti. So I wish to share with you guys that way back in 2021, when we were forming our internal technology team in Deep Thought. As you all know, Deep Thought started in 2020 on March 16th, but we did not have an internal technology team until 2021. So in June of 2021, we built our first internal technology team. So at that point, when we were hiring developers again, we used to get a lot of people who didn't care about the philosophy of what we're trying to build and so on, and just they just wanted a job where they had some good seniors to guide them, where they could make some products. They could code something and build their resume as a developer. So we curated our selection process very carefully so that we brought in developers who cared about what we were building. And over a period of time, what happened is we had a lot of interns who were already building modules from 0 to 1. And soon Deep Thought became a very aspirational organization, and a lot of college students would apply for software development internships with us purely because they saw strong role models in people who worked and built stuff here. So at that point, I think what was very difficult was to make sure that we hire those developers who respected the domain, who understood the psychology and business principles which go into our technology. And at some point, some college students would come, give us advice on how we should hire developers. I found that very cute, that some people coming and sharing why they think this approach was a wrong approach and they should be hired only based on skills. Didn't want to be rude, didn't want to shun their ambition, politely sent them off. But yeah, as I say, rest is history. We managed to set our web development team in place. But data science, I think, is a very new department in Deep Thought. Only recently, I think we've been able to implement some machine learning models, and even now the integration is not complete within our full stack code, right? It's working as a standalone module now, and I think it's important that we integrate it within our existing code base. Still very early days for data science at Deep Thought. So one question I have for all of you is, what's your advice for somebody who wants to be a data scientist at Deep Thought? So what I think, according to you, what can make or break somebody's career in Deep Thought as a data scientist?
So, in Deep Thought, we look at data science as a whole perspective, correct? We have our own processes that we follow. We have our own framework that would help to create models, so that would help in creating Deep Thoughts data scientist, we can say. And if you're not totally agreeing with that process, then I would think you're not compatible match with Deep Thoughts data science perspective.
So you're saying ability to work with the frameworks would be very important. To understand first principles and frameworks and use them is what you consider to be important.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aditya. Over to you, Sanskriti.
I would say it is very important to look towards technology as a tool, not as a the whole of it, because when we give whenever we approach technology as the base of something, we get involved in lots of work which is not required even. That is my personal experience that I have gone through, and then I figured out some processes, some frameworks that helped me a lot. So it's very important that we follow a approach of first principles, come up with the requirements, look up to technologies as a tool to solve a problem. First, know your problem statement, what you are solving. Then come up with the requirement. What are the
So,
requirements to solve
Sanskrit,
this
are you
problem?
telling me that data scientist doesn't need to know how to code?
I'm not telling that thing, but whatever the languages we are using, those languages are being coded by someone before. No, it's just that we are appending those languages, so we can take them as a tool
Okay. Thank you.
according to our requirements.
Thank you, Sanskriti. Over to you, Neeraj.
Yes, like what was my observation was ki if we want to start our career as a in data science domain, it doesn't mean ki we should only know about data science. Like because the domain knowledge is very important, and like philosophy, science, history, all things, all contexts we need to know to start our career in data science domain. And like I would not say ki coding is not a part, it is very little part. Suppose it is like 5% of the entire data science career. So I think domain is very necessary to understand the execution in the data science.
Thank you, Neeraj. So, Sanskriti was talking about first principles reasoning. In case you guys are not aware of first principles reasoning, we would recommend that you go through the TED talk of Elon Musk. So, somebody asked Elon Musk, what is his secret? How did he start so many companies which are like 500 billion? If they asked if he could share his secret so more and more people could emulate him. He said his success is in first principles reasoning, which is like a physics way of solving business problems. How do you go to the fundamental truths and reason something from there? So I would encourage everyone to go through first principles reasoning, which Sanskriti spoke about. And as Aditya mentioned, I think ability to think in terms of frameworks is super critical, not just in data science, but if you're engaging in strategy. McKinsey and some of the best management consulting firms are known for their ability to use frameworks to solve problems. And I think frameworks can really help in bringing the right idea at the right time while solving problems. So I think using frameworks is super critical. I think at McKinsey as well, when they hire for data scientist roles, I think they have some interviews around structured thinking, how they can use frameworks and structured thinking to solve problems. Neeraj, I think articulated the importance of domain knowledge. Being a data scientist in healthcare, being a data scientist in food space, or being a data scientist in financial markets can be very, very different things. So at the end of the day, as a data scientist, what are you doing? So there are governing dynamics in your discipline. There are some rules in your field, right? And the experts have figured out the rules. It's like the movie Lagan, right? Where they go, they watch the match and they try to figure out what are the rules of the game. They don't know the rules of the game, they're figuring out. It's something like somebody's playing chess, you don't know the rules of chess, you're standing there and you're trying to figure out what the rules are. So as a data scientist, what you're doing is not any different. The world is the way she is, nature is the way she is. You're trying to understand how nature behaves with the help of data. So I think the more you understand about the domain, the more you understand these rules, you'll be able to analyze, use data better, you'll be able to analyze, get patterns, and you'll be able to make some intelligent recommendations that can help the business. Because at the end of the day, businesses love data scientists and businesses pay a fortune to get a data science department in place. They spend that kind of money purely because they would like to make their businesses better, right? They'd like to make more intelligent choices. And I think that intelligent choices come in when you understand the governing dynamics, right? What are the rules which are shaping how your domain moves forward? So if you are a data scientist in the healthcare space, I think knowing about allergies, knowing about the body, knowing about why certain things happen, I think is super important so that you can then use statistical tools to harvest that knowledge and make recommendations at scale. Data science gives you, both statistical and programming tools to, get hold of the patterns at scale, right? A human being might take several years to do that, but if you're able to write a little program, I think you can get that going faster. In some places, you might make an AI if you have some rules and expert dynamics that you've already figured out. You might do it with machine learning sometimes if there's repetitive patterns, and just with patterns if you're able to solve the problem. So are you going to use AI? Are you going to use ML? That I think can be very specific to the situation. But I think some of these thought processes are very critical for you to succeed as a data scientist. So once again, I thank Aditya, I thank Sanskriti and Neeraj for joining us. I hope this video sets the right expectations for you on whether data science would excite you or not. So before we close, one last question. According to you, who would succeed as a data scientist and why? What kind of individuals would succeed as data scientists and why?
So one thing, uh, a data scientist. For me, it is everything is data. So if we can see data everywhere, and if you can find out where is data and how we can use it, utilize it properly. If you have that aspiration, then only you can become a data science. Otherwise, I don't think. Look, for people, for seeing, like, I want to do it for job, I want to do it for money. You can become a data science, but you will never be that kick will never come when you can't see data everywhere. For me, seeing that data is important for a data scientist.
And by the way, India is still very nascent on the data science front. There are not enough jobs in data science in India. There are a lot of jobs in the US, but not in India already. For India to go through that data transformation, I think will still take a few more years. So until then, I think the positions that we have, as Aditya said, would require nerds who love to see data everywhere, who love that data crunching. Yeah. Thank you, Aditya. Who's going next?
For me, it is like the system is already there. So like we have a website or we have a application. So how we can make that application intelligent? We are already receiving a lot of data from that application, but how we can use that data to make some sense, to make some intelligence out of that application. So that application should help in a business or in a, like, if there is an application for any uh, manufacturing company. So how the data we are getting from the company, how that data can be helpful to growth of that company. So if you will able to add that intelligence in that system, I think it would be a great thing.
Thank you, Neeraj. If you're a Sherlock and you love bringing that intelligence, you'll probably make a data scientist. Thank you, Neeraj. Over to you, Sanskriti.
I would say if a person is curious to learn everything and anything, that for that person, data science is a good field. Because for me, data science is like an ocean. And if person is scared of swimming, they can't step down into water, no. So it's like if you are scared of swimming, please don't opt a data science. So if you are curious to learn everything, if you are curious, if you are interested to learn whatever comes to your way, then data science is your.
Okay. So yeah, Aditya.
Yeah, so I would like to add an experience with you that we had. I think in our sheet we were missing only one number when we were calculating. Correct, you and me. I think Prahlad was there. All data scientists were there, and we were trying to figure out why it is getting a difference of only one. So I think we have spent around one for half an hour to 45 minutes trying to figure out, while going into depth of it, why only one number is getting. It was just, it was a mistake. We all figured out that it was a mistake. But the process, the enjoyment that we had while doing it, we all enjoyed it because we loved data. We loved working with data. So one experience I wanted to just bring in.
Sure. Thank you, Aditya. So I think beautiful stories coming in there. If you're curious, you love asking questions. If you'd like to look at all the apps that you use and think of ideas to make the apps more intelligent, or if you see data all around you, if you look at everything as data, probably you'll make a great data scientist, and the world does need a lot of good data scientists out there. So hope you found this video useful. In case you want to apply to Deep Thought as a data scientist, the link is in the video description, and you can click that link and go through our selection process. because our selection process takes you through a series of tasks, and that series of tasks generate the data points through which we can evaluate if you'll make a good data scientist for us. As Aditya said, data is all around. So even an interaction that you have with us, I think, is a data point for us. So yeah, thank you everyone, and this concludes our session.